you may be wondering, what is it like to drive a 1983 truck in 2025? I want to help you out with this. So let's talk about it. All right, guys, it's raining out here. We gotta finish this video though, by any means necessary. But God is everything. Without God, I'm nothing. All right, guys, so we are about to get directly into this video, and I'm gonna tell y'all the pros and the cons of daily driving an older truck, a 1983 Chevy C10. We're gonna start off with the pros, man. But before we do that, I have to get some coolant put into this truck because it is now dropping to the low 30s, 30, 34, 32. We had a couple 32s. I got lucky. But I do know those freezing temperatures can crack your block if you have water in your block. So yeah, so I'm about to drain this water out of here. Went and bought some coolant yesterday, so I'm about to take off this bottom radiator hose. Again, I've done this about 3 times. I don't know how, I don't know what this shot look like for y'all, man, but hopefully it ain't nothing weird. But yeah, finna get this off, get this bottom hose off, let this water drain out. And yeah, we didn't buy no 50-50, so for anybody who's buying coolant, don't buy 50-50, buy the concentrate. If you buy 50-50, you're buying half coolant and half water. Now, if you're in an emergency where you just need something and it's cold, buy 50-50. But if you're in a situation where you have water, don't buy the 50-50 because you basically buying half coolant, half water. So I don't know if everybody knows this, but yeah, do not buy the 50-50. But yeah, we just gonna run some. I'm gonna run y'all a little bit of B-roll footage. Hopefully y'all can see what I'm doing. And yeah, we're gonna get this coolant put in, and then we're gonna get into the video. Alright, guys, we are heading out. I'm gonna talk good and loud so y'all can hear me, because I know this truck is a little bit loud. Not crazy loud, but it's loud a little bit. So the big question is, what is it like driving a 1983 C10? Or I would say generally any old school in 2025. And to be honest with y'all, get some defrost going up here, y'all. Give me a second. Well, sometimes the defrost don't work the best in this old truck. Nice rain today, so I couldn't really give y'all the video I wanted to give y'all, to be honest, because it was raining. But we're gonna still talk about it. So let's go, like I said, let's go ahead and address the elephant in the room. One of the cons is gas mileage, because back before this thing even had a cam in it, the gas mileage was horrendous. And I mean, and I legit mean horrendous. I mean horrible. I had to crack my window a little bit, get some air in it. The window's fogging up. Trying to crack my little side window. But yeah, man, gas mileage is horrible in these things. And with the gas prices in 2025, it definitely makes it a lot more difficult to drive an old vehicle, man, especially something that's carbureted. Definitely makes it, you know, rough, man, because I'm gonna do a video for y'all, man. I'm gonna test out the gas mileage to see what kind of gas mileage I'm getting for this little 350 right here. But yeah, that's the first reason why I say that, you know, that's what make it bad. My second con that I can think of right off the top of my head is if your old school gets hit, like for instance, if this get hit, I can find another one, but I may not be able to find another one in the same condition, or you know, it may be so expensive, and the insurance company don't value these cars. So if you don't have the proper insurance on it, you could be at a loss for your old school. So if this gets hit, or one of your old schools get hit, you know, just in a general traffic, everyday driving, you could definitely be out of a car. You know, obviously you can find whatever. You know, I don't want to sit here and make it seem like you just can't find these. You know, especially these C10s, you can find these, but sometimes the condition of them may be questionable. So, yeah, that being said, that could make you, you know, that could make it kind of risky to even take your old school out. Me personally, I don't care. I look at it as if, you know, what's gonna happen, it's gonna happen. So I never trip off of it. I would rather have enjoyed my truck than have not driven it and then take it out one time and somebody told it out. So that's how I operate. So that's my thoughts on that. Now for me, that's about all the cons that I can think of right off the top of my head. Now if you can think of any more, leave them down in the comment section. Like what stops you from taking your old school out? What are the cons? Well, let's talk about the pros. Let's jump right into them. One of the pros I feel like is the you drive it out and everybody sees it, and some people don't, you know, some of your younger generation, they don't know what it is, but they just see something that they don't see every day, and that's a man, that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. And especially if you got a little bit of horsepower and you can hit that bad boy and you know, it lets them know that there's more to it than just Hellcats and Coyotes and Camaro ancestry. It lets them know that there's more choices out there than what you just see on a regular basis. And you know, it just comes with a different attitude, a different mindset. You know, another con that I thought another pro that I thought of is you don't have all of that technology. Something so simple in one of your newer cars could shut you down, and you would have to call for a tow truck for something that's so simple. And I mean, I guess technically speaking, that could be a pro and a con, because you know that technology also could save you a headache of figuring out something simple. So I'm gonna give that a 50-50 on that scale, man. Let me grab this call from my wife, man, and I'll be back to talk about technology. All right, guys, back to it. So let's talk about the technology, man. So you got the newer trucks. Everything is digital. The gates are digital. I mean, everything is digital. The digital radio, blah, blah, blah. Now, I do have a Bluetooth radio in here, just so it, you know, just hooks up to my phone real nicely. But sometimes this radio acts up. And I'm gonna be honest. I like the newer, you know, digital gauges, Dakota Digital. I like those gauges, but at the same time, I also like the analog gauge. I trust an analog gauge before I trust a mechanical. I mean, before I trust an electric gauge. That's just me, though. That might not be, you know, say the most accurate way, but if I had two gauges, one of them was electric and the other was mechanical, I'm trusting the mechanical one before I trust the electrical. That's just me, though. I don't know if that's the right way or wrong way. Now this is for my guys who have those big cams and things about that. Now, big cams are cool. Don't get me wrong. They are very cool. You pull up, ain't nothing like it. There's nothing like it. And not saying that you can't cam, you know, your modern LS engines or LT engines. You can cam those also. You cam your Hemi. You can't cam a Coyote, but you can do what's called a ghost tune on it. But the aura just isn't the same. But here's the thing: when you're pulling up in an old school and it's cam, like a big cam, you don't have brakes. Your brakes don't your brakes don't work real good. Now with this camera that I have, it's not really big. The brakes still work okay. They have their times where they kind of sketchy a little bit, but for the most part, the brakes are they are pretty good for the most part. I'll be honest about that. I'm not 100% sure if the newer cars have that issue or not. I've never heard of guys saying they had to put a brake canister or nothing like that on a newer one. So I don't think the brake issue is an issue with the newer cars. But yeah, so now let's move into a different thing. Let's say you want to ride in your old school and you want to drive it every day, because I have driven this truck every day to work. There was a time when the Honda was down, the Challenger was down, and everything was just, you know, down. Let me get on ride. But yeah, there was a time when everything was down and I had to drive this thing every day. And when you got something like this that only runs on 93, it's a rough drive to work every day. At my last job, the job where I had to drive this thing every day, the job was about 20 minutes from the house. So a 20-minute drive, man, I was getting fuel every other day. Like literally getting fuel every other day. Because for one, I wasn't too sure on how much gas was in it, because these older C10s, the gas handle do this. It'll be doing this while you're driving sometimes. And you don't, and you're like, okay, which one is it? And like, I don't know. You might want to just get some gas. You know, that's what I be thinking to be saying. I think you got a half a tank or a quarter of a tank. I ain't sure. Maybe you might be empty. I don't know. But so yeah, like I was saying, let's say you want to daily drive your truck. There's a few things you can do to. Let me hit this thing for y'all real quick. It's wet out here, and it got squiggly, boy. But yeah, there's a few things that you can do to make, how can I say this, make your driving experience in an old school more pleasant. I know my diehard carburetor guys are gonna get mad at me when I say this, but putting you some fuel injection on that thing, I really hate to say that. I like carburetors, don't get me wrong. Carburetors are, man, they are so simple. No wiring harness, no wirings, no plugs. They are so simple. And I love them. Don't let me ever tell you that I don't like carburetors, because I absolutely love a carburetor. You know, once I figure them out, I absolutely love a carburetor. There was a time when I absolutely hated them, but now I'm to a point where I actually love a carburetor. But I also, now my Harley, I gotta be honest, my Harley carburetor, I don't ever have to touch it. It can be 30 degrees, it can be 80 degrees. I never have to touch it. It works, and it works. There's a few times, and I can probably count on one hand, how many times I've cranked it up and maybe it shut back off, and I had to fire back up. But the second time, it was there. I can't talk. And I'm not talking about just trying to make it stay. I'm talking about boom, electric choke, catch it, boom, it's there. But yeah, so I will say something like one of those Harleys that look like a carburetor, if you want to keep that look. I heard they do a very good job of hiding the wires and things. But if you want the reliability, if you want to hop in this thing and drive it any and everywhere, I'm gonna have to say fuel injection is gonna be one of your mods that you're gonna have to make to make that transition, nice and smooth. All right, man, so let's talk about another thing that you're gonna want to do. You're gonna want to also, for most guys, you're gonna have to do something with your suspension. You're gonna want that ride to be a little bit better. Now, don't get me wrong, Iron Man had factory stuff on it. I think it was factory. And man, that thing, it rolled good, but it would hit a bump and it would go pow, pow, pow. It would sound like a gun went off, because it just pow, but just regular traffic, regular bumpy road, it was fine. But if it hit something big, you was gonna know it. So that's one of the things I want to say. Maybe upgrade your suspension. Maybe look into like some coilovers and stuff, because stance on these old cars is everything. The stance is everything. You can have the nicest truck or nicest Fox body or whatever in the world. If the stance isn't right with your wheels, it will look like absolute garbage. And let's just keep it moving. The next thing is you want a nice sounding system in it, man. You don't have to. I mean, now let me be honest. I am not the guy that's gonna pull up with the boom and the bah, 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 bah. You know, that's just not me. I have absolutely nothing against it. I have absolutely nothing against the big rims or nothing. I have nothing against them. It's just not my, you know, this not my forte, if you know, if you will. But yeah, so you want to upgrade your sound system with some nice speakers, nice, you know, radio. I would recommend a Bluetooth radio. I probably would recommend some nice, you know, gauges, because they can just change the complete look of your truck, you know. So I probably would, even though I just said, you know, that was one of the downfalls. But if you look at some of your newer cars, this complete thing is completely digital. And that's what I'm against. I'm against a completely digital thing. But yeah, man. If you was wondering what it's like to drive your old school, there you go. PullsTv, go.